Good morning everyone, this is Swayam Mangal Sahu and welcome to our channel Home Swim Education. Today we are going to learn about Class 8 English of NCERT chapter 2 whose name is A Concrete Example. So let us learn this chapter. Before we will learn this chapter, we will know what is the example of this chapter's name. So what is the chapter's name? A concrete example. What does it means? A means one. Concrete means a thing which are made up of stones and sands and cement. And an example means a type of thing that is similar to this. Means the chapter's name tells us that the concrete example is about an example type of a concrete. We will read in this chapter. So let us read this chapter. So, the next door neighbor's Mrs. John has got a garden full of stones, a crazy path and lily pond, a rockery and just beyond, a sundial with a strange device, which Mrs. John thinks rather nice. Means the poet tells that their next door was neighbors whose name was Mrs. John, which have a garden, and the garden contains many or full of stones. Now this garden also contains a crazy path with some lily pond. This also contains with some rockery and just beyond a sundial with a strange device. Means that just beside here we can see that there is a sundial which is on a strange device like, which Mrs. Dawn thinks that it is the rather nice. Now the second paragraph is, my next door neighbor's Mrs. John puts little plants between the stones. They are so delicate and small, they don't mean anything at all. I can't think how she get them in unless she plants them with a pin. Now the poet another time repeats the line, my next door neighbor's Mrs. John, and tells that there are many little and small flowers which are planted between the stones. They are very small and elegant that they look so strange. Now he also tells that the poet thinks that the plants are just planted between the stone with a pin because they are so small and delicate that we can't plant them between the stones. Now the third paragraph is, my next door neighbor's Mrs. John once said me round to see her stones. We stood and talked about a flower for a quite and a quarter of an hour. Where is the lovely thing? I cried. You are standing on it, she replied. So now the poet another time repeats the line, my next door neighbor's Mrs. John, and then tells that Mrs. John just requested the poet to come and see the stones. Now, when they were looking at the stones, they talked about a plant or a flower. They talked upon a quarter of an hour, means of 15 minutes. Now the poet told or cried that where is the beautiful flower I want to see. When the poet asks this, then the Mrs. John tells that you're standing on it, she just replied. So this is all about this chapter. Now we will look about this word meanings and summary. So the word meanings are, number 1, rockery, which means a garden features made of rocks. Then the second is sundial, which means a device that tells the time using the sun. Now strange, its meaning is usual or not familiar. Number 4, delicate, easily broken or damaged. Number 5, unless means except if or only if. Then now stones, what does it means? Hard solid minerals pieces. Now lovely, it means beautiful or pleasant. Now the summary, which is on point wise. So let us read this. The speaker describes his neighbor Mrs. John, who has a garden many filled with these stones. What does it mean? It means that the speaker describes his neighbor, whose name is Mrs. John, who has a garden which is filled with these stones. Her garden includes a crazy path, lily pond, rockery and a sundial. Her garden contains crazy paths with lily ponds, rockery and a sundial. She grows tiny plants between the stones, which are so small and delicate that they seem almost insignificant. It means that between the stones there are very small plants which are planted, which seems very small and insignificant. The speaker jokes that she must plant them with a pin because of their mintiness. Now the speaker makes a joke that the plants are such small that they are planted with a pin. Mrs. John once invited the speaker to view her garden. They spoke about a flower for a long time, but the speaker could not spot it. Now one day Mrs. John invites him to see the stones, and they both spoke sometimes about a flower, but the poet could not spot it. Therefore, in the end, Mrs. John reveals the flower was so tiny that the speaker was actually standing on it. At the end, Mrs. John reveals that the flower was very small, which was stood by the speaker actually. With this, we are going to end our chapter. Thank you for all, and in our next part we will learn about the question answer of this chapter.